Welcome back to TAKTAK Toys today. Let's look at Operation Monster Force Wave 0. Specifically, the Phantom Corps Special Ops Detachment Trooper and his zombified unfortunate counterpart, the Apophis Legion Rapid Recon Unit. And I can tell you now, I'm bloody loving these two. iArmy built these two from TAKTAK Toys. I like all of Wave 2 or Wave 0 if you will. I'll explain that further later in the video. But I could only army build these two before most of them sold out. So have you been collecting Monster Force? Let me know if you have in the comments below. And sit back, grab some snacks, and welcome back to TAKTAK Toys, your home of G.I. Joe Classified, Operation Monster Force 6-inch Acid Rain, and general 6-inch action figure news. Grab some figures from the display and have a pose and play Yakka-D-Yak. Here's TAKTAK. Right. So we have had a look at the front of the box, some lovely box art with what I'm calling digital renders on the front of the box. All the relevant logos letting you know this is from Operation Monster Force. And the box has a magnetic cover. Wave 1 had a Velcro cover where you can open the cover. You'll see that when we look at the packaging in more detail, very reminiscent of NECA packaging, where you can open the cover to see the figure inside. In particular, it reminds me of the Universal Monsters NECA TMNT figures, which is ironically appropriate. And so the top of the box tells us these are Big Bad Toy Store exclusives, and for ages 17 plus, and we see the name of Phantom Corps on the side. And then a nice write-up about the Phantom Corps on the back of the packaging, with a selection of figures from Wave 2 and Wave 0 on the back of the box at the bottom. So, in terms of Operation Monster Force lore, these figures in this review are a prequel to the Wave 1 figures. Essentially, they are the troops that are first sent to tackle the Forgotten King, and then defeated and turned into the Forgotten King's undead forces. So to give you some flavour of the bio on the back of the packaging for the Phantom Corps here, a new threat is rising. An ancient evil has emerged from ancient Egypt. Acre the Forgotten King in modern times. The governments of the world send their forces to try and stop him. General Brown deploys the Phantom Corps to stop the Forgotten King, with only their intelligence officer, Declan Van Helsing, surviving the encounter. So the leaders of Operation Monster Force called. The Sentinels realize conventional methods of attack won't work against the Forgotten King, and Declan Van Helsing has an idea on new ideas to fight the Forgotten King, which, not mentioned on the bio here, is essentially awakening Dracula and infecting various troops with vampire blood, not from Dracula, so that he doesn't have full control over the troops, as these vampire troops will be immune to the Forgotten King's powers. The troops can take an antidote to revert back to human form within an allocated time period, or after this they will remain vampires permanently. So these troops are the first waves of defense that fail against the Forgotten King, and ultimately become his zombified undead forces.
And then we get a look inside the packaging, which very similarly to NECA, as mentioned before, shows the figure in a window and a flap you can open, with the same storyline as detailed on the back of the box, but this time with added comic artwork. Libby here, and I'll be helping Mark with this review, and the figure certainly does look impressive. Very well done camo paint job upon seeing him for the first time in his package. And if you're enjoying this review, so smash the like button. Are you collecting Operation Monster Force? Or are you admiring them from afar? If you are picking them up, which figures do you have in your collection? Let us know in the comments below. And now let's take a look at the Apophis Legion Rapid Recon Unit. So like the Phantom Corps, lovely NECA style packaging with a digital render I think on the front of the box. The top has the details that the figure is a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive and for ages 17 plus. And the sides of the box tell you that it's the Apophis Legion that we are dealing with.
So, in terms of Operation Monster Force lore, these figures in this review are a prequel to the Wave 1 figures. Essentially, they are the troops that are first sent to tackle the Forgotten King and then defeated and turned into the Forgotten King's undead forces. a new threat is rising. An ancient evil has emerged from ancient Egypt. Acre, the forgotten king in modern times. The governments of the world send their forces to try and stop him. General Brown deploys the Phantom Corps to stop the Forgotten King, with only their intelligence officer, Declan Van Helsing, surviving the encounter. So the leaders of Operation Monster Force called. The Sentinels realize conventional methods of attack won't work against the Forgotten King, and Declan Van Helsing has an idea on new ideas to fight the Forgotten King, which, not mentioned on the bio here, is essentially awakening Dracula and infecting various troops with vampire blood, not from Dracula, so that he doesn't have full control over the troops, as these vampire troops will be immune to the Forgotten King's powers. The troops can take an antidote to revert back to human form within an allocated time period, or after this they will remain vampires permanently. So these troops are the first waves of defense that fail against the Forgotten King, and ultimately become his zombified undead forces.
And just like the Phantom Corps, the Apologia Legion box has an open flap, so you can see the zombified figure inside, and on the inner side of the flap you can see the storyline, where the Forgotten King turned these troops into his personal army. And talking of personal armies, if you would like to job marks, feel free to smash the like button, hit the hype button and hit the bell notification for any notifications on future content. And if you want to go even further, you're welcome to by becoming a channel member for even more exclusive content.
So we definitely need more zombies action figures in general, but these zombified troops look absolutely fantastic and they are so versatile. You don't have to stick to the Operation Monster Force lore, you can have these guys in a Marvel Zombies display with your zombie, MCU Cap, Iron Man and Scarlet Witch. Marvel Legends, if you like, or the 4 Horsemen upcoming zombie figures, if you don't mind mixing lines. My favourites are the Phantom Corps, but these zombie troops are a close second. Right, so let's get these guys out of the box and see what they come with. And as you could no doubt see in the packaging, both figures come with plenty of sets of hands, an extra head option and a weapon. There is additional parts and pieces and a stand for each figure and blast effects. Interestingly, it feels like these figures come with slightly less than Wave 1, in my opinion. Maybe that's a cost-cutting measure, or maybe Wave 1 felt like they came with too many accessories. There was a lot with each figure apart from Dracula, and maybe Fresh Monkey Fiction took that on board from fan feedback and adjusted accordingly.
Right, so we have the accessories that the Phantom Corps Trooper comes with, and these include a beret, a second neck, a handgun, extra magazines, blast effects, knife and pouches, but you're going to see all this laid out in front of the figure later in the video. And he does also come with a blank nameplate for his vest, if you want a more generic soldier compared to the Phantom Corps unit. Shoulder pads, forgot to mention those, and the stand, which can double up as a gravestone if you like, and it has the name of the Phantom Corps on the front. So plenty of accessories, but in my opinion a bit lighter than Wave 1, and now we will have a look at the Apophis Legion Zombie Trooper. So as you can see here, the Apophis Legion Zombie Trooper comes with an additional head portrait, extra hands, a Gridiron Studios weapon, just like the Phantom Corps, and all manner of accessories, which we will have a look at in further detail, including blast effects, and a tombstone base for him to stand on. So if you're enjoying this video, let me know in the comments below. Have you picked up an Operation Monster Force figure? The plastic feels really good quality, hence maybe the higher price point compared to classified and Valaverse figures. The Apophis Legion has a helmet, hat and spare handgun, knives and sheaths, holsters, elbow pads, radio and clip pouches, and again we will see all that laid out in front of the figure. Right then, so let's get both the Phantom Corps Trooper and the Apophis Legion figures out of their clam shells and get some first impressions.
I've just taken them out of the package and they are already fighting. The Zombie Trooper, aka the Apophis Legion, wants some brains, and the Phantom Corps Trooper is fighting to not be on the menu. So as you can see, the Phantom Corps has some lovely camo pattern all over his uniform, some lovely washes on his vest and the brown parts of his uniform, and the Apophis Legion Trooper has some lovely wet bloody looking wounds. The gashes look wet and bloody. The Phantom Corps figure was a bit more stiff out of the package compared to the Apophis Legion Trooper, which moved a bit more freely. But I definitely would recommend giving both of them a warm bath to loosen up the joints and really get the articulation moving smoothly. The Phantom Corps Trooper has a lovely load out of accessories on the vest, and you can add elbow pads and accessories to load him out. And same with the Apophis Legion Trooper, who really sells the impression of a trooper who's been dead for a long time.
So the Phantom Corps looks like a great military trooper. If you like Beachhead from G.I. Joe, you're going to absolutely love this guy, and he's an army builder, so you can go all in. Unfortunately, at the time of this video he's sold out on TAKTAK Toys, but the Apophis Legion is still available. You can however still pick up both from Big Bad Toy Store. And if you do want zombie undead army guys, the Apophis Legion Trooper is your man.
So the head really conveys some expression and emotion of a guy who has seen some shit or ready for some shit to hit the fan in the balaclava. The eyes behind the mask just have that look. The camo pattern is really impressive. And one thing I've noticed, the camo pattern is even painted on the elbow joints, which is a really nice small touch, which just makes this guy worth the higher price point. The plastic just feels premium, lots of nice washes and dry brushing on the vest and pockets and pouches and knee pads and elbow pads, so a very nice aesthetic on the Phantom Corps. And a nice 360-degree view of him. And similarly, the Apophis Legion has some lovely camo patterns as well, more of a woodland camo in my opinion. I like that the Phantom Corps and Apophis Legion do have different camo patterns. There's little spatters of blood on the uniform of the Apophis Legion Trooper here and there, which add to the whole aesthetic of an undead warrior. Both figures have modular vests that you can mix and match pieces, and basically make each figure unique to a look you prefer with some of the accessories included. So I hope you're enjoying this 360 view look at both figures.
So here's the Apophis Legion. As Mark mentioned, he seems to have a darker camo uniform, and if the Phantom Corps has seen some shit, the Apophis Legion has been through some shit. A very gnarly zombie head sculpt, lots of bloody cuts and bruises. This guy lost more than his pride when he went up against the Forgotten King. And you can see that both of these guys are going to be very photogenic for some great toy photography. Mark has been able to take some very fun, basic photos, with some very basic poses for this video. So if you do toy photography regularly and fantasy military figures with a supernatural theme are your vibe, you're going to love these. Both figures are on a great buck that's very articulated. The wounds are probably the star of the show on the Apophis Legion, new sculpting work where the wounds are, and I'd really like to see a Apophis Legion Trooper when he was still human before the undead zombification by the Forgotten King. Perhaps that's an idea for a future wave. So you really can't help but put the Apophis Legion undead trooper into a mindless zombie pose straight out of the package. I know for the sake of the 360-degree look, Mark has him straight up in a vanilla pose, but he can easily be put into that George Romeo style of undead terror zombie coming to get you pose. And any minute now we will see the Apophis Legion fall over from lack of nourishment from brains. That's the magic of doing an action figure review. The figures sometimes fall over, and you just pick them up and keep on going. And if you're enjoying this review of the Phantom Corps and Apophis Legion, let me know in the comments below. Right then, so we have had a good 360-degree look at both figures. There are of course many more figures in Wave 0 and Wave 2, but Mark only picked these two up at the moment. So have you got a favorite out of the two shown in this review? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this video in general, please do smash the like button, hit the hype button, and feel free to comment and subscribe with any of your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Have you got either of these figures? Did you pick up any of Wave 1 of Operation Monster Force? Let us know in the comments below. Right then, it's about time for some comparisons, and let's first up have a look at the Phantom Corps Trooper and the Apophis Legion Trooper and his Operation Monster Force counterparts from Wave 1.
Thanks, Libby. So let's start with the most obvious comparisons, and that's Wave 1 of Operation Monster Force. And here's the Delta Red Vampire Trooper, who's a vampire good guy. Essentially, the good guys needed supernatural powers to combat the Forgotten King because he was turning human soldiers into his own forces. So here is what the Delta Red Vampire Trooper alongside the Phantom Corps and Apophis Legion troopers from the follow-up wave. So as you would expect, these characters will pair together beautifully, as they are from the same line as you would expect. And these Delta Red Vampire troops are still available in small quantities, I think, at Kapow if you are based in the UK and want to check out Operation Monster Force, which I highly recommend you do if you're curious. And then if you're a fan of 80s Action Force and the Red Shadows, you'll be pleased with the next comparison. But if you can check out the modern Action Force from Valaverse, which will complement G.I. Joe Classified, and of course Operation Monster Force. So here is the Crimson Sleepwalkers, the forces of the Forgotten King, alongside the Apophis Legion. So again, the Crimson Sleepwalkers are from Wave 1 and they are available via Big Bad Toy Store, and we may get a restock of Wave 1 at Kapow. Let's see. But yeah, you can have the Sleepwalkers fight your Vampire Delta Reds, or the Phantom Corps if you want to mix and match timelines a bit. They are your action figures, you enjoy them to the fullest in the way you want. And then the main man for the good guys battling the Sleepwalkers and Apophis Legion, and any other forces that the Forgotten King can throw at General Brown and his forces. So here's Declan Van Helsing, descent of the Van Helsing family. So if you want a representation of the field commander of Operation Monster Force here, you go alongside his former unit, the Phantom Corps and the Apophis Legion, the antagonists that Declan and the forces of good fight. And if you're enjoying this video, smash the like button, consider commenting and subscribing for even more exclusive content, should you also decide to become a channel member. And feel free to hit the notification bell so that you can keep up to date with all my content on the channel. And then to catch and take down a monster, you need a monster. So Declan Van Helsing, who you've just seen, opens the tomb of Dracula to take on the Forgotten King. And Dracula commands the vampire unit, the Delta Reds we saw at the start of the comparisons, but Dracula can only partially command them, as they are human troops infected with vampire blood from a different vampire, so that Dracula can't have complete control over them. So Dracula, Declan Van Helsing and the Delta Reds form the first effective defensive against the Forgotten King, which the Sentinels, including General Brown, build upon. The Sentinels are the commanders of Operation Monster Force when they aren't busy hunting X-Men or the Hulk. And then we have the big bad of the Operation Monster Force lore, the Forgotten King, and he is the thorn in the side of the good guys, including Declan Van Helsing and Dracula. He's an Egyptian wizard whose name has been erased from history, resurrected in modern times, who created an army to serve him, which includes the Sleepwalkers as seen earlier, and the Apophis Legion. So here you can see the big bad next to the Apophis Legion, his troops to command, and the Phantom Corps, the ill-fated troops that first were deployed to deal with him. So, hope you enjoyed these comparisons, plenty more comparisons to come with other action figure lines later in the video. But now let's switch over and have a look at the articulation on both figures, after we have had a quick look at a clip from my SDCC Jada Toys Street Fighter 2, M. Bison and Dalsim. If you collect Jada Street Fighter and are curious about these, feel free to check the video out. Right then, so let's have a look at the articulation on both figures. And we will go over this more than once, just so you can get a real feel and flavour of the points of articulation. For all the articulation junkies out there, I'm never sure if this is a part of video that collectors want to see, but all the big YouTube reviewers do it. So with that in mind, let's check out what's on offer with fresh monkey fiction here. So let's get the beret and weapons out of the way as well as any hats on the figure, so we can concentrate on articulation. And there is a ball joint in the base of the head and neck for some fairly decent up and down and side to side motion. If it's a zombie trooper, you can do a 360-degree rotation for some broken neck posing, hinge in the neck, swivel and tilt. The ball joints at the bottom of the neck might be tight, so might require heating up. Butterfly joints, T-pose and full 360 with the arms, double jointed elbows, 360-degree rotation at the wrists, and bicep swivel, which can be stiff out of the box. Same on the left and right arm, obviously. Pinless joints as well. Standard for Operation Monster Force, the tactical vest will limit articulation at the torso, barrel joint and ball at the waist, thigh cuts, double jointed knees, and ankle rockers and boot cuts. And same with these on the left and right leg, obviously. And he can do the splits of you. So wish. So there are slight variations in articulation between the Phantom Corps and Apophis Legion, but for the most part they are both up to the modern standard of articulation we can expect from lines like Classified, Valorverse, and of course in this case Operation Monster Force. Right then, so let's have a look at the articulation on both figures. And we will go over this more than once, just so you can get a real feel and flavour of the points of articulation. For all the articulation junkies out there, I'm never sure if this is a part of video that collectors want to see, but all the big YouTube reviewers do it. So with that in mind, let's check out what's on offer with fresh monkey fiction here. So let's get the beret and weapons out of the way as well as any hats on the figure, so we can concentrate on articulation. And there is a ball joint in the base of the head and neck for some fairly decent up and down and side to side motion. If it's a zombie trooper, you can do a 360-degree rotation for some broken neck posing, hinge in the neck, swivel and tilt. The ball joints at the bottom of the neck might be tight, so might require heating up. Butterfly joints, T-pose and full 360 with the arms, double jointed elbows, 360-degree rotation at the wrists, and bicep swivel, which can be stiff out of the box. Same on the left and right arm, obviously. Pinless joints as well. Standard for Operation Monster Force, the tactical vest will limit articulation at the torso, barrel joint and ball at the waist, thigh cuts, double jointed knees, and ankle rockers and boot cuts. And same with these on the left and right leg, obviously. And he can do the splits of you. So wish. So there are slight variations in articulation between the Phantom Corps and Apophis Legion, but for the most part they are both up to the modern standard of articulation we can expect from lines like Classified, Valorverse, and of course in this case Operation Monster Force.
So I hope you enjoyed that look at the articulation on both figures. So let's have a look at some of the accessories that come with both figures. And there's plenty of options to make each figure your own look and customize the look of each figure to your own personal look. Obviously the Phantom Corps comes with a beret and gun that we saw previously. The weapons are done by Gridiron Studios, by the way. So he comes with a spare head in an alternate skin color, same sculpt, another neck, elbow pads and spare ammo clips, a knife, spare hands, thigh weapon or accessories holster, and pockets and pouches, but not enough to keep Rob Liefeld happy. So a fairly decent loadout, although I do feel Wave 1 came with more accessories. Whether that's a budget decision, or in fact fan feedback about an overwhelming amount of parts and accessories with Wave 1 that fresh monkey fiction have listened to fans and adjusted things, who knows. But what do you think? Do you like lots of accessories, or prefer if there is just a couple of sets of hands and an alternative head option? And both the Phantom Corps and Apophis Legion come with various blast effects, which are great for toy photography and posing on the shelf, and I particularly like the gun smoke effects that can be plugged into the weapons. So plenty of choice to send the trooper of choice into battle. And then we get a look at the Apophis Legion soldier, and it's more of the same for your kit bashing and customizing potential. So he comes with a hat, a helmet, a spare head with beard portrait, a neck, earpieces, a mask, a knife, a set of guns, elbow pads and pouches and pockets, some of which are soft plastic and a bit tricky to put together. So keeping in mind that these zombies troops retain all of their soldier skill set abilities, these accessories and weapons are nice to have. But also if you want a mindless undead zombie, you can go for that option, and perhaps leave some of the parts, pieces, accessories and weapons off of the figure. Right then, so that's a look at all the accessories, and now let's do some more comparisons. And again, if you're enjoying this review, let me know in the comments below. Feel free to smash that like button, hit the hype button, tickle the bell notification, thanks Jay for that one, to keep informed on all upcoming content. Right then, so let's get into the comparisons and let's start with Marvel Legends, the cornerstone of many a 1/12 collection. And here we have a look at Old Man Hawkeye, and I believe he was the first pinless Marvel Legend from what I can remember. And he still holds up, so if you want to have the Operation Monster Force characters enter the world of Old Man Logan, here you go. And then from Marvel to DC, let's go from Old Man Hawkeye to Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner in his 90s look. This is a Mattel figure from before McFarlane, and this is a taste of perhaps what we might expect in 2027. So if you want the Operation Monster Force enter the DC universe in Blackest Day and Darkest Night, then here's a taste of that in this comparison. And then from DC back to Marvel via CT Toys, here with Tiger Stripe Wolverine. And here's a great CT Toys release. If you missed the Mafex release, this is your chance to get another version. And if you're enjoying these comparisons, let us know in the comments below. So if you want Wolverine to team up with the Phantom Corps against the Apophis Legion, here's what you can expect from this team up. But maybe lean green and fighting machines are more your speed. Here's the Super 7 Ultimates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Raphael alongside our Operation Monster Force figures. So these turtles from Super 7 Ultimates are based on the toys from the 80s, and Mark had Raphael as a 10-year-old. So it's really nice to have a version that can fit into his 1/12 collection. So feel free to hit the hype button, and let me know if you have any TMNT figures in your collection. And then from childhood memories of Turtles to memories of Spawn action figures in the late 90s. Mark had a few Spawn figures back then, and here we have the modern interpretation of Spawn figures, with the Plague action figure, so you can see how a 1/10 scale McFarlane figure scales alongside Operation Monster Force. And he fights to the finish cause, he eats his spinach. Let's have a look at the Mesco 1/12 Popeye alongside Operation Monster Force Phantom Corps, and Apophis Legion troops. This is quite a change for Popeye compared to duking it out with Bluto. And so as you can see here, Mesco 1/12 runs a little shorter than a standard 6-inch figure, due to the nature of the Popeye character. Here's a really fun Mesco 1/12 figure. Perhaps with Operation Monster Force we will get more figures with soft goods features. The Donner Party had a cloth goods cape. But that's all the comparisons, hope you enjoyed them, and let's have some overall thoughts and impressions on the Phantom Corps and Apophis Legion. But before we have those overall thoughts, let's have some shoutouts. And we saw Marvel Legends Old Man Hawkeye earlier. And that leads into shoutouts for all the latest Marvel Legends news and reviews. Check out Dan Who Reviews. And Dan has a video on the Operation Monster Force Eraser and Blackwatch Agent on his channel. Check that out, link in the comments below. Feel free to check out Joe's and Juice, Miguel and the TAKTAK Toy review, Kapow Toys, where I picked up the Operation Monster Force Phantom Corps, and Apophis Legion. Check out Kapow if you want to pre-order Wave 3, In-Demand Toys, Star Action figures, comics and cocktails, Gobsmack comics. All the cool stuff, props and replicas, the whole shebang. Jay's Toy Collection UK and more. Check out AC Toy Design, Robo Don't Know, Justin Collects, Emporium of Cool, Chris at Moxtra Games and Collectibles, Mikey Moon Boots, John E. Collector, and Kenny Encountered Culture. And thanks again to Kenny for the footage from LegionsCon 2025. Feel free to check out that video, link should be in the comments below. So we can see Mythic Legions here obviously, but Operation Monster Force were at LegionsCon as far as I'm aware. And also shout out to John Complusive Collector, who is a big Operation Monster Force fan, and always sees and interacts with them at JoeFest. These US conventions look so fun and amazing. Just look at how impressive the Mythic Legions Dawn of Discovery wave look in this diorama. So if you're enjoying this video review, and this look at footage from LegionsCon 2025, let us know in the comments below. Mythic Legions has great kit bashing potential with their figures. And it seems Operation Monster Force also has a similar trend of kit bashing potential with their figures, with all the accessories included with figures, or the accessory packs. And just look at this cracking nautical diorama, this honestly makes me think of Amity Island from Jaws. Those characters might make for some fun Mythic Legions customs. It honestly is a fantastic time to be a collector of independent toy lines with the likes of Mythic Legions and Operation Monster Force, and many more out there to cater to all tastes. So Bulwark the Crab Warrior here looks like an impressive bastard, and Operation Monster Force, just like Mythic Legions here, have had a similarly impressive diorama at JoeFest. Having the figures displayed in dioramas and display case setups at these conventions really helps bring the characters and storytelling to life, and sell the appeal of the characters even more. And here we have the Figura Obscura line, with their headless horseman and horse. And although very medieval looking, this guy could be right at home with Operation Monster Force, if you felt like mixing lines. And right at the top of the case we have Thoth the Egyptian god from Figura Obscura, who is this year's LegionsCon 2025 exclusive. and no doubt there will be even more gods of Egypt to come. Thoth will go great alongside Anubis and Bastet, the trio of deities from Egyptian pantheon. So in a way, out of all the lines, the four horsemen do Figura Osbura might be most compatible with Operation Monster Force, especially as there is a Figura Obscura Frankenstein monster. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like to mix action figure lines in your collection, or keep them on separate shelves? Let me know in the comments below.
Thanks, Libby. Really appreciate that commentary over the Legion's con coverage from Encountered Culture. And if you have enjoyed everything so far in the video, please let me know in the comments below. Has seeing Operation Monster Force tempted you to pick some up? TAKTAK Toys and Big Bad Toy Store, and the two places you can officially get these. Feel free to smash that like button, hit that hype button, and feel free to become a channel member for even more content if you like to support the channel in that manner. Or just feel free to share this video with a fellow collector who you feel may appreciate Operation Monster Force. General Brown, Declan Van Helsing and myself will really appreciate it. Right then, so that's a quick little look at Legion's Con 2025. So let's have some overall thoughts on the Operation Monster Force, Phantom Corps and Apophis Legion. So do I recommend these? Absolutely 100%. So if you like your soldiers with a monster or supernatural flavour, then the Apophis Legions are your vibe with the zombie troops. But if you like more of a toy soldier with fine sculpted details and washes and dry brushing on both figures, but more of a toy soldier vibe, then the Phantom Corps are your unit of choice to send into battle. The Phantom Corps are my personal favourite. Yes, they do need a warm bath out of the package, and that is par for the course sometimes with modern action figures and points of articulation, which sometimes need warming up. What I personally like about both of those guys is they have a modern military aesthetic compared to Wave 1, which with the Sleepwalkers felt more Second World War or even First World War in look, aesthetic and vibe. There are some definite improvements over Wave 1, such as better accessories, plug-ins to the thigh straps and less accessories. I personally felt compared to Wave 1, but Wave 1 did have a lot, maybe an overwhelming amount of accessories. For me personally, Wave 0 and Wave 2 are the best waves so far, even more so than Wave 3. These troops can really battle any collection G.I. Joe, Classified, Marvel Legends and more. So the score I'm going to give for the Phantom Corps and Apophis Legion from Operation Monster Force is 9.5 out of 10. They are really, really fun, and I honestly highly recommend them. Well, that's it. So what did you think of this review and these two figures? Let me know your thoughts and opinions about the Operation Monster Force, Phantom Corps and Apophis Legion in the comments below. And until next time, enjoy those flicks and figs. Brains. Yummy.